This is Smooth 98.1. We love music, and we definitely love life on a Wednesday morning, hump of the week, Wednesday morning. This is the Smooth Breakfast. Yours truly is Ayokunmi Kekireko. Time to take a walk into the locker room and take a look at what's going on in the world of sports. That's what we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:15 a.m. on your Love Music, Love Live station. Great to have you on this journey with us being me, and of course, the one, the only, Tega is with me in the building. Tega, good morning to you. Welcome to the locker room.
Good morning. Fantastic day today. A lot of good news on the Nigerian front. Well, a lot of settled news. We'll know whether it is good later. But a lot of
Mhm.
settled news on the Nigerian front. Also, we'll touch a little bit. Paralympics is starting, so medals, medals, medals. That's all I'm going to be saying to it. Actually, mean a medal. So Paralympics
Exactly.
is starting, so we'll touch on that a little bit. The La Liga was played yesterday. I think I'm liking the Barcelona Academy. That's what I'm going to call them now because there's a lot of teenagers in that football club at this point in time. You can't even call them a professional football club. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll wrap up with some other stories around the world of football. But before we do any talking, Ayo, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room this morning?
All right. To be part of the locker room, brought to you by Visa this morning, you can send your messages into us on WhatsApp. Hey, we love when you get interactive with us and share your thoughts. The WhatsApp number is 0809 981 0809 That's the WhatsApp number. You can also join us on YouTube where we're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. That is the YouTube platform where you get to catch us on the stream. All right. Let me just clue you into some of the stories we'll be talking about this morning before we get into the show proper. So, German Bruno Labbadia becomes the 37th head coach of the Super Eagles. Interesting times ahead. Concerning Morocco 2025, Ekong, Aino, Simon, Indidi, 19 others to battle Benin Republic and Rwanda. And games coming up on the 7th and the 10th of September. It's going to be very interesting. Dicey, but interesting as well. Tearful Osaka triumphs in US Open return. Hey, the US Open is in full swing and in full gear. Some very interesting results as well. And I know that Tega is going to clue you in to what is happening on that front. And Olmo strike earns Barcelona comeback win at Rayo Vallecano. I mean, Danny Olmo, new boy right there, already doing the business for Barcelona as they were able to come back and win 2-1 at Rayo Vallecano. That's on Tuesday. And Barcelona this season under Hansi Flick are making some really good moves. Chelsea's main target is to offload players. That's according to manager Enzo Maresca. And on the Paris Paralympics, organizers announced 2 million tickets have been sold. That's a good one right there. Arsenal signed midfielder Mikel Merino from Real Sociedad, and João Cancelo joins Al Hilal from Manchester City. Not too surprising there. I mean, seeing that relationship between he and Pep Guardiola was not the best at all. But anyways, Tega, great to have you back on. Let's start at the beginning and let's start with our darling Super Eagles. As the Nigerian Football Federation has announced that it has reached an agreement with German tactician Bruno Labbadia to become the head coach of Nigeria's senior men's national team, the Super Eagles.
Yeah, we'll know that he's a tactician through and through. What we know is that he's a coach with some experience in club football. Tactician, we're waiting to see. Really interesting one. So remember, at some point we heard it was Renard, then we heard it was Anderson. In fact, Anderson had. I think on Monday we touched on the fact that the Anderson was in talks with the NFF, but
Mm.
those talks broke down. And you have to remember. So from what we're hearing, Renard actually agreed a price. Then he just decided, I'm not coming to sign these papers. Then Anderson's own with I don't know where the talks broke down because Haveronade is really expensive. So if the NFF was able to agree, you know, with Renard, that may Anderson shouldn't have been more expensive, but I don't know where Anderson's talks broke down. Uh, and then from nowhere, literally nowhere, at 5:30 a.m. on Tuesday morning, whilst the children of the Lord slept, I don't know why we keep doing this thing. Announce election results in the night. Announce coach in the night. I don't understand what's
You
happening.
know, so that
But
surprise when you wake up, surprise, something like that.
surprise, breakfast in bed. So anyway, 5:30 a.m. We hear that we have a new coach. They were talking overnight. This is one of those midnight meetings you're not even afraid of. And we hear Labbadia is coach. And impressively, it came suddenly and from nowhere. So there was no need for analysis. There was no need for backtracking. I think they just got tired of the back and forth with every other name, and they went for him. So he doesn't get easy for him. At so far, we know that they've agreed. We have not yet seen pen to paper yet. And for me,
Okay.
that is very key in Nigeria. You must see the signature on the paper for me to agree that it has been confirmed. But barring that, it's been announced and there's been no disclaimer from his team or from his side. So we wait to see how it pans out. But already, he's going to be getting into the thick of things. Remember that Nigeria was already struggling at the World Cup qualifiers, and the
Mm,
AFCON qualifiers come up in the next window, which is, well, 7th of September, not very far away from here. So he really is going to be diving into everything with 2 feet. We'll wait to see how. I mean, with all the analysis you can make. Oh, he was this good. Oh, he was this bad. Oh, he's a relegation specialist. He knows how to make clubs survive relegation. All that is, talks until he comes to Nigeria and we see if he's actually a perfect fit with our players. So until that, like I said, we cannot say tactician yet until we actually see the tactics. So
mm,
let's just say Nigeria has a coach, and I think all things being equal, that's a step in the right direction because it was a strange thing for Nigeria to be in limbo for as long as we were in limbo. So this
mm,
is this is progress to have a coach at least.
mm. This is progress to have a coach at least. And I know we talked about this on Monday, where you said
Yeah.
that, hey, I mean, it's what you can afford that you reach out and you pick off on the
Ah.
shelf. And I guess that is where we are right now. And he's jumping into the Shark Tank immediately, back-to-back games coming up with the Super Eagles, talking about the Morocco 2025
Yep.
qualifiers
The
coming up in
AFCON
September.
qualifier. Yeah, and we have to
And
do better there because
we
remember
definitely
we reached final of in Ivory Coast, so we have to qualify without calculator number one, and then
definitely
number two, we have to know at least who our team is because I think that's the thing with Jose Pesero. With all that was we're talking about, we couldn't really say this is the starting 11 and this is the best starting 11 we have. So I hope with him we can see some kind of pattern and certainty. Yeah.
Definitely, we hope so. And talking about those qualifiers, Captain William Petrus Ekong, wingback Olaoluwa Aino, and forwards Victor Osimhen and Taiwo Awoniyi are back in the Super Eagles nest for next month's 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying matches against Benin Republic and Rwanda. Starting
Yeah.
the qualification phase, big games ahead.
Yeah, starting in Uyo. Um, they're going. The first one against Benin will be in Uyo, so that's an interesting one because you're playing at home, and like I said, remember the World Cup qualifiers haven't gone according to plan, even against so-called minnows in African football. Sorry, in world football in general.
And
And
Benin
so
was one of them.
yeah, so it's going to be a tough one in Uyo. Um, Trusteko coming back is not shocking because remember, even the last match we played, he said he was available. The coach just didn't pick him because he was coming back from injury without any real match fitness. So that's not shocking to me. I think online I know is a little tricky because he too just came back from injury and to be playing for club and country back from injury would be an interesting case to see. But yeah, he's on the team list. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to start or even play, but he's on the team list. Taiwo Awoniyi and Victor Osimhen gives us the options up front. I would say this though, for Victor Osimhen, he has a lot to prove. And I think that's what is making me hopeful because he has a situation with his club. Today you hear he's going to Saudi, tomorrow you hear he's going to Chelsea, the next day you hear, okay, maybe he's staying in Napoli ultimately. So I think that situation in his club and then the outbursts he had on social media when he responded to unfounded reports is what is going to give him, I think, the should I say, the extra oomph to want to perform on the pitch. So I think that's what is making me hopeful. For Taiwo Awoniyi, getting back from injury, coming back into the team, he'd want to make a statement. So the team list is not bad. Olisanda making the team list. People have been calling for him to perform. The thing about Nigeria is that we have players. He's picking the team that is well blended and can deliver the results. That's usually the struggle. But this is a good team list. It's a good team list.
This definitely is looking like a good team list, but will all the ingredients in this soup come together to give us premium
exactly
ogbono or not?
Not the one that you're going to be on one side, the water will be on the other side.
You understand, Tega, you understand. That's what we're looking for. Confirm premium soup is what we need. All right, let's talk some tennis here. And of course, the US Open, which is in full swing, as I mentioned earlier. Two-time champion Naomi Osaka made a triumphant, tearful return to the US Open on Tuesday, beating 10th seed Latvian Jelena Ostapenko 6-3, 6-2, a year after wondering if she would ever be back.
Yeah, so last year she wasn't at the draws. Remember, she had a baby, and so she wasn't at the draws. But I think last year is what gave her some of the much needed motivation, because she was like, I was watching Coco last year win the US Open, and I was like, I really want to be back on court. And she's two-time winner here. So she's no small person. Last time she won it was in 2020. But she had all those. First, she had the struggles with the press and then the struggles in her form. And then she eventually got pregnant and went to have a baby. So she's back now. And she was back. Her draw is not easy. Remember, I was telling you about Iga Swiatek having a tough draw. And this is Iga Swiatek's side. This is the bottom half of Iga Swiatek's draw. So so to have that ultimately also means that Naomi Osaka has a tough draw, because if she's in the same side with Iga Swiatek, that's a tough draw. And to start with Jelena Ostapenko. Jelena may have many problems. She's one of the most talented athletes on women's tour. World number 10 for a reason. Former Grand Slam winner. She won the French Open. So, I mean, it's a tough one to dip your feet into. But Naomi Osaka is something of a hard court specialist. And like I said, she's won here twice. So she knows this place. This is New York. This is her. Well, I mean, on her passport, she's Japanese because of her heritage. But this is where she was raised. These are her people. So she knows these courts very well. So it was very tough. When they first started, they were trading games, and I thought, okay, let's sit down, grab some popcorn. This is going to be interesting. But Naomi Osaka pulled out one of the most brilliant tennis performance I've seen her display in the recent time. And she was able to knock out Jelena Ostapenko in straight sets. That I did not see coming. I expected this to be a battle, but a straight set victory for Naomi Osaka, and she didn't really break a sweat without trying to disrespect Jelena Ostapenko. She didn't really break a sweat. So it was huge to see Naomi Osaka back in this form. Well, let's not ignore the fact that she needed not only win on court, she won in her dressing. Because I think recently women have fallen off in their Grand Slam dressing. Grand Slam used to be where you bring out like your, how do Igbo people call it? Aligbe, bottom box. That's where you bring out all those your nice frills and trills. Then all of a sudden, WTA tours started coming up with boring outfits, but Naomi Osaka brought the glam back with her outfit. So it was great that she dressed up well, and then she went on to win. On the men's side, already a big name has fallen off. Stefanos Tsitsipas lost yesterday. It was a tricky day for Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. Both of them dropped a set each, but they were able to come through. So smooth one all round so far. But that Stefanos Tsitsipas loss was really a tough one. He hasn't really done well at the US Open, but to lose in the first round against Kokenakis, when it's not a party. That's it. That's it. I know that Kokinakis can out party everybody. I didn't expect him to outplay Tsitsipas the way he did, but yeah, so far so good. Interesting games all around yesterday.
Very interesting games all around yesterday. And hey, a big names falling by the wayside. Even Emma Raducanu also being stung right there. And hey, it's
Maradukanu is not a big name
uh-uh,
no.
uh-uh,
Let's be honest. Ever since she
Tega.
won the US Open, that was it. That was it. And Raducanu has not been a threat for anybody in tennis in a while. She had a brilliant Wimbledon, yes, but she hasn't been a big name in a while. So I think her best performance is still that US Open. And after that, she just went downhill from there, changing coaches, deciding not to play. I mean, think about it. She had a brilliant Wimbledon. Then she now decided, I'm not playing again for the next 3 to 4 weeks. What kind of lack of commitment and indiscipline is that? I wasn't surprised that she lost. I was not even remotely surprised. My only question was, how was she going to lose? And that's the thing with Raducanu. As if when she won that Grand Slam, she just felt that she has hit the highest mark in her career. That's the
Right,
best I can do. And that's it. So she
right,
hasn't
right.
really, yeah. So you can say in the cases of defending champions, a defending champion fell on the wayside, but a big name in women's tennis, my goodness, she has not been near that at all. At
Mm,
all. Mm.
interesting thoughts there. Let's take a quick let's take a quick breather right here. When we come back, we'll come in and talk some football as Danny Olmo doing what Barcelona brought him in to do and a whole lot more. Keep it tuned. This is Smooth 98.1, the locker room. We'll be back in a bit.
Jace, we'll be back in a bit. Jace, 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 Jace.
So are you taking Visa's message when we come back in?
Yes, I'll take it with the Paralympic story.
Oh, okay, okay, wait,
Yeah.
it's still different. Okay.
You know what? Maybe after the Danny Olmo story, you bring the Paralympics, then we now go to
Mm,
the next. Mm.
okay.
Let's do it like that. Oh God, the curious, very irritating boy.
Welcome back to the locker room right here on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life on a Wednesday morning. We are in the locker room talking sports this morning. My name is Ayokunmi. Of course, Tega is still with me as we've been, should I say, taking a look at what's been going on in the world of sports. We've talked about US Open, we've talked about Super Eagles as well. And we're still talking football right now. But before I get into the story, just to remind you that you can join us and share your thoughts on WhatsApp on 0809 440 981. 0809 440 981. Also, we're streaming live on YouTube at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, Chega, welcome back to the show. Let's talk Barcelona, who have been in really good form in this early season. Now, Barcelona substitute Dani Olmo struck in the 82nd minute to grab a 2-1 comeback victory at Rayo Vallecano on Tuesday as La Liga leaders continue their perfect start to the season with a third consecutive win. Hansi Flick seems to be cooking.
Yeah, he's cooking, and he's cooking with academy players. Lots of young boys there, including a horrible injury to what's his name now, Bernard, in the last in the added minutes of the matches. And I'm hearing reports that he may be out for the rest of the season because it was a knee injury. 17-year-old boy. Can you imagine? Out for the rest of the season. That's a tough one to get. But let's wait. Those were the initial diagnosis. But let's wait to see after today's scans and everything if that's really the situation with him. But yes, Hansi Flick is doing a good job with what he has. Barcelona managed to register Christensen as injured for the next 3 months. So there's a report that is saying his team is saying he's going to be out for only 1 month. But Barcelona medical team is saying he's going to be out for 3 months. And that gave them the opportunity to register Dani Olmo. You can make of that information what you will. But then saying that Christensen was going to be out for 3 months gave them the opportunity to register Olmo. And my goodness, what a brilliant registration. Um, Barcelona, I think they were struggling a little bit in the sense that teams know exactly how they're going to play. So they were dominating possession at I think about 62%, but they didn't have a clear cut chance at goal. Why? Because Rayo Vallecano were choking that midfield and the defense. And then Rayo Vallecano takes opportunity of quick breaks to put the ball in the back of the net to give them the lead. Then they go back and choke again. And it was a struggle for Barcelona to break through. Again, like I said, they have a lot of young players there, so not a lot of experience, youthful exuberance in some places. And Lewandowski not, being the same Lewandowski he was at Bayern Munich, couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. So they were struggling. And then second half, they sent on Dani Olmo. My goodness, it was like the lights came on for Barcelona. Everything started to click. The passes were beautiful. Their counter attacks were a bit more direct. They were flowing. They were finding each other with the ball.
Mm.
It was a brilliant. Without his goal, it was already a brilliant debut because the minute he came on the pitch, the way Barcelona started to threaten looked a little more different. And so now they were getting looks at the goal. They were creating chances that they could score from. And then Pedri got the equalizer. After Pedri got the equalizer, it looked like they were going to get another goal. That was cancelled for for a foul in the build up, and then eventually he gets the winner. But it was a brilliant performance, even without the goal. And then the goal was just a cherry at the top of the cake. So, beautiful one for Barcelona getting a player like Dani Olmo, and interesting to see Hansi Flick taking advantage of the system and using a lot of youthful players. Everywhere you turned around, there was a teenager just running up
Mm.
and down. It was beginning to look like a jam exam as opposed to La Liga match. There's 17-year-olds everywhere, but they are able to deliver the results. So, contrary to popular belief that Real Madrid was going to run away with the league, I think Barcelona may have a little bit of say. It's still early days, but I think Barcelona may have a good run at it.
Mm. They just may have a good run at it. I mean, it's the feel good factor is there. Three games, 3 wins, and it's just they're just hoping that the party will continue in that fashion. All right, let's talk about the Paralympics, which actually will begin today. And organizers of the Paris Paralympics announced Tuesday that over 2 million tickets have been sold as the games prepare to open. We're looking forward to Team Nigeria, of course, bringing some medals home. Tega, fingers across.
Yes, fingers crossed. But they usually do. So it's not. I mean, they don't just bring medals home; they bring medals and world records home. So we wait to see how they can deliver on this one. But yes, Paralympics starts today, and I think the beautiful thing about Paralympics are all the stories. Because you watch the inclusion and the diversity of the Paralympic stories, and there are many. You know, you'd hear stories of people who were not necessarily athletic, they were just regular exercise people, and then
Mm.
maybe they had an accident and then they decided to start participating, and they're now at the Paralympics and winning medals. I remember the US veteran when he won gold, and they told us his story, how he lost his limbs from IUD. You know how it is. A
Mm.
bomb exploded. He lost his limbs. Next
Rather
thing,
unfortunate.
he's at the let's say he's at the Paralympics winning medals, and I'm just like, so all those fantastic stories are the things that make the Paralympics really interesting. So I can't wait to first of all see the opening ceremony. I hope it will be less controversial than the Olympics. Um, I also yes, I also hope that the logistics planning for both athletes and the media will be better than the Olympics because people complain a lot about the organization. For I mean, remember when they didn't let athletes come in through a particular access point
That
for
was
their training?
ridiculous.
Yes, and then they had to go and turn around, and it took them almost an hour before they could get into the training facility. So I hope they're doing better at the Paralympics. So all those wrinkles, I hope to see ironed out at the Paralympics, and then I can't wait to hear the stories. And of course, the most important one, Nigeria winning medals. Now, speaking
Oh,
of the
yes.
Paralympics, yes, speaking of the Paralympics, let's talk about Visa on the global stage, championing inclusivity and culture. So the Paralympics starts today, and beyond digital payments, Visa has shown a commitment to curating experiences that champion global talent, inclusivity, and the power of small steps. And part of one of the things they're using to push for inclusivity and the power of small steps is sponsorship of the 2024 Paris Paralympics that will be starting today. So remember, they have a cohort of Paralympic athletes with diverse representation from more than 60 countries and 40 sports. And remember, Goodness Nwachukwu from Nigeria is one of those athletes that they've chosen to promote inclusion and diversity through. Also remember that for these summer holidays, there are benefits to be gotten from using your Visa dollar card, from discounts on your flights to
Interesting.
discounts on your hotel to discounts on your experiences. And if you're going for the Paralympics, which you should be going, and there are lots of experiences there, you should try to use your Visa dollar card to find out all the benefits you can get from the Visa dollar card and from Visa partnering with the Paralympics. Make sure you visit visa.com.ng. All right. Again, visa.com.ng to see what is available and what you can win just by using your Visa dollar card. All right. On that note, let's dive into some other people's misfortunes, like Chelsea.
Misfortunes. I don't know. I mean, they're off the back of a 6-2 win, so they'll tell you that, man, things are looking up for them. But anyways, according to their manager Enzo Maresca, he says that the Chelsea's main aim in the transfer window is to offload players from their squad so the club can balance its books. I mean, they spent over 60 million pounds on 11 new signings this evening, and players, they gotta go. They really gotta go.
Yeah, so all I can say, Aswani market was yesterday, Chelsea market is open today. Bend down, select. That's what they are doing at Chelsea now. So I heard Manchester United was trying to bend down and select Raheem Sterling.
Still, Tega,
The color didn't fit.
I've been having a stomach ache since yesterday, just hearing that news. I mean, like, really? It's 2024 now. Come on. Raheem Sterling.
I
I'd rather
mean,
keep I'd rather keep Sancho. Keep him. Just keep leave him there. Still, really? Oh
well,
now.
the players are available, like you heard, that their primary purpose is to offload as many players as possible. So they'd be going for cheap. And these are players that they spent a lot of money on, and they'd be going for cheap. So, like I said, it's not Aswani market was yesterday, but this is Chelsea market today. So, if you're looking for players that will be willing to join you without any fuss, and affordable players, I think the best place to go now is Stamford Bridge because they have to offload, like you said. And it's interesting, they're trying to offload players, but they're buying players that they're even loaning out. Can you imagine? They want to offload players, but they're still transferring new players. And some of them, they're leaving them in their clubs for one more season. But the fact that they are still buying new players when they are trying to offload players is ridiculous to me. But let's hear your thoughts about the Chelsea situation, about the Chelsea evening market. All right. The number to send your messages to are
The number on WhatsApp is 0809 440 981. 0809 440 981. A couple of messages have come in here and on YouTube. Let's take them as a roundup on the locker room this morning. Tayo says, NFF go wine us with random appointments, but no panic. Labbadia with his last name, I honestly thought he was Nigerian. There's nothing to expect from him, but don't lose to Ghana or South Africa. Exactly what I said I saw on Twitter. Before our sports minister starts writing open letters, I wish him the best. But I wish him well because he's on a very hot seat. And he says, RIP to Sven Goran Eriksson, which is very true. He passed on very, very
oh
recently.
yes,
Yesterday or thereabouts.
day before yesterday.
Day before yesterday, he lived a long and fulfilled life. I mean, Lazio legend. He'll definitely be missed in the world of football. Ridwan says, a wonderful display at the Campo de Vallecas from my beloved Barcelona was clouded by Bernal's ACL tear. Olmo was good on his debut, especially in between the lines, and Flick responded well to Vallecano's goal despite their defensive astuteness. I hope this Bruno Labbadia or Labbadia guy impresses us, but I'm not
It's not
hopeful.
Lagbaja, oh, it's Labbadia.
Oh my goodness. And on YouTube, Abiodun Obishason says, great move with the signing of the German coach. Our football will definitely be the better for that decision, you think? Locals never cut it anyway. Cut them some slack. I mean, come on. Then another great win for Barcelona. Flick is cooking. And then the second message in response to that message is from Padre Pio, anyway of the two, says, shaking my head at Abiodun Obisha, so who thinks color of the skin translates to better performance? I do wish the new coach well because first and foremost, I'm Nigerian. Well, I mean that is
True,
Abiodun's.
true.
That,
Ultimately, whether you
oh,
agree to his appointment or not, you wish him well because I
uh,
mean it's the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
exactly, exactly. And on that note, we need to bring it into our journey into the locker room. Thank you so much,
Oh
Tega,
my
for
God, I didn't even
bringing.
know time had gone.
Oh, it has absolutely flown by. It does that when you're having a good time. And I
Yeah.
appreciate you joining me this morning, as always, to shine some much needed light on some sports stories.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning into Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to the locker room. Thank you for sending messages to WhatsApp and YouTube. And we'll come your way again on Friday with more stories and again, more mouth-watering fixtures for the weekend's fixtures.
Alrighty. And thank you all for sending in your messages. Keep it tuned to Smooth 98.1 because the Smooth Breakfast will continue. 9 o'clock, we're going to get talking on Lagos Talks. As I mentioned earlier, it's all about AI this morning. Don't go anywhere. Brought to you by Visa.